Attorney General Pam Bondi is testifying at a House committee with House members expected to grill her on a range of issues. There were some heated exchanges last year during a congressional hearing between lawmakers and Bondi. Now, some Democrats accused her of deflecting questions with personal attacks, but tensions could run high again with issues like the Epstein files and the Fulton County FBI raid over the 2020 election, as well as the killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Here's some of what we've heard in that testimony so far.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the
ridiculous.
way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs to
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
Reclaiming my time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
that
reclaim
he
your
talks
time.
about they indicted.
The
president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these
Committee will be in order.
theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman.
Reclaiming my time.
Because it's honest. So he asked a 4-minute question.
Restore 45 seconds, Mr. Nadler, please,
going
Mr.
to
Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me anything.
I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler. Go
All
ahead.
right.
My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0. You have been the Attorney General for a whole year, and your DOJ fired the lead prosecutor of this case, sat on evidence this entire time, and claimed falsely last July that there were no more leads. It took an act of Congress for you to finally release part of the Epstein files, and when you did, you included personal information about the victims while protecting the names of abusers.
Time of the gentleman
None
has
of the perpetrators
expired.
have been brought to justice, but enormous resources
Time
are dedicated
of the gentleman
to
has
pursuing Trump's
expired,
enemies.
and
It's
obviously
clear that under your leadership, the Department of Justice
there
no
was
longer
no
works
question
for
in
American
there.
people. It works
For her to
for Donald
respond to.
Trump. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.
All right, so certainly seems like things were once again heated this time around. Let's bring in CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small, who's live on Capitol Hill following today's hearing for us. Taurean, that was quite something listening to all of that. What are lawmakers focused on when it comes to their questions about the Epstein files?
Yeah, Mugo, as long as that shot was, that's a pretty accurate snapshot of this hearing so far as it relates to the crossfire conversation between Democrats on this panel and Attorney General Pam Bondi. The root of their concerns, the liberal members of this committee, has been her department's handling of the release of the Epstein files. A couple of striking moments as it relates to this happened already at the start. It's only been going on for just under an hour. We heard in the opening statement of Pam Bondi a direct call to or address to victims of Jeffrey Epstein in attendance at this hearing today. She offered her condolences and said that her department is willing to work with them for any justice that they're seeking. But then there was a moment between Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who called out Attorney General Bondi and said that she believes she should turn around to those victims and apologize for what she's calling the botched rollout of the release of those Epstein files, saying, as we just heard Representative Nadler say there in that exchange, that they believe that the department deliberately mishandled the release, unredacting victims' names and identities while redacting their so-called abusers and doing so potentially in a deliberate way, though as this continues, we're likely to see more of this, as Bondi's response to this has been to draw a distinction between the department's transparency now on this matter and what she's calling the lack of transparency from the previous administration, Mugo.
Okay. Well, Taurean, what other topics do you think will likely dominate today's hearing?
Yeah, so far we've heard just bits about the department's handling of law enforcement as it relates to immigration enforcement around the country. Minnesota was invoked by both the witness and Democrats on this panel. We're likely to hear more of that, especially because Democrats are negotiating with the Trump administration around a funding measure or efforts to fund the Department of Homeland Security in lieu of funding being included in the minibus that passed a couple of weeks ago. They have until Friday to figure something else, or else there will be a partial shutdown specifically for the Department of Homeland Security. Right now, what we know is that Democrats are asking for a number of things as it relates to reforms for immigration enforcement. That includes removal of masks for ICE agents, as well as a strict code of conduct across the board as it relates to any interactions between protesters and those law enforcement agents. Mugo.
All right, Taurean Small, and a busy Capitol Hill for us today. Thank you so much.